So you want to know the essentials to surviving your first year in Don't Starve Together without watching a multi-hour long video? I got you, even if you're a beginner. I'll achieve this by including only the bare essentials to make it through your first year. This way you'll know what tasks you should aim to have done by each season, and therefore be able to build a timeline of milestones to work toward. Then once you've mastered the essentials, you can adventure through the world yourself to discover areas and bosses for you to conquer. Most of the background footage in this video is me doing a real essential playthrough of the game to make sure I got the timings of all the milestones correct. And don't worry, during each season there will be spare time for you to take time to work toward the milestones that I'll present, or you can spend the time doing something of your own choosing. Let's get started. World creation. When creating your world, I'd recommend the survival playstyle, then make sure you enable caves, as there's a lot of content in there that you don't want to miss out on. The only mod I'd say that is essential is geometric placement, as it allows you to place structures neatly. But if you're playing on console, don't worry, everything that I'm going to show you is still possible. You can also use the craft pot mod, which will help you experiment and learn crockpot recipes. Moving on to character selection. Each character has unique abilities with upsides and downsides, but for a beginner I'd recommend Wendy or Willow since they effectively have bodyguards to keep you safe. Though in this video I'll be using Wilson, who has little to no upsides or downsides, along with not using his skill tree, so that my essential strategies are generic and therefore will work with all characters. So you can pick whoever you want and this guide will still work. How to essentially not die. The aim of the game is not to die, so how do you die? Well, you have 3 meters in the top right of your screen, starting with health. If this hits 0, you of course die. Next, your hunger meter will slowly drain by 75 points per day, and once it hits 0, you will begin starving, which will drain your health at a rate of 1.25 points per second, which after 2 minutes will cause you to die. For your information, one in-game day is 8 minutes in real time. Lastly is your sanity meter, which doesn't directly kill you, but as it gets lower, your world will look more and more desaturated, and once it drops below half of its maximum, you'll notice dark figures spawning around you. Then once your sanity reaches 15% or less of its maximum, you're in trouble, as those dark figures will now be aggressive and attack you. These shadow creatures can be killed to restore your sanity, but if they manage to hit you, they will of course deal damage to your health, which eventually could cause you to die. But we don't have to worry about sanity just yet, as when we spawn in, all our meters are full up, so let's get started. You begin the game in autumn, which lasts 20 days. Autumn has no adverse weather effects, which will cause you to die. But starting on day 21, winter will begin, where the world gets cold among a few other dangers. So in autumn, the essential milestones are to explore the map while gathering materials, set up a base and a food source for hunger and healing, and prepare for winter before it comes. So let's get started with that first milestone. On day 1, we're going to stay within the starter biome. You can tell which biome you're in from looking at the color of the turf under your feet. The starter biome will be mostly bright green grass turf, some yellow savanna turf, and a little bit of dark green turf, and this biome won't have many dangers. During our time here, we're going to pick 40 twigs from saplings, 40 pieces of grass from grass tufts, and grab at least 3 flint we see laying down on the floor. For now, don't attack anything, and if you get attacked, simply run away until the mob leaves you alone. Birds will also occasionally drop seeds after they fly away. Make sure to pick these up throughout the entirety of your first autumn. But Jakey, I can't find any saplings, grass tufts, and or berry bushes. Don't worry, my child. Sometimes your world can generate with alternative sources of twigs, grass, and berries. These alternative resources are twiggy trees, grass geckos, and juicy berry bushes. If you get a twiggy tree world, you'll find twigs on the floor. Then you can make an axe to chop down twiggy trees to get more twigs. Twiggy trees also drop a twig every time that they grow. If you have a grass gecko world, you'll only find grass tufts in the savanna biomes, but you'll find grass geckos in rocky biomes. Approach a herd of grass geckos to scare them into dropping their tails, which is a piece of grass. It then takes them 2 days for their tails to regrow. Finally, rather than normal berry bushes, you might get juicy berry bushes. These berry bushes grow 3 juicy berries at a time and take longer to regrow berries than normal berry bushes, but these juicy berries spoil a lot faster than regular berries. Speaking of berries, you'll see berry bushes and carrots all over the place. Make sure to pick these while we're exploring, as these will be our main food source for the early game. Your hunger drains 75 points per day, which means you'll need the equivalent of 6 carrots per day to keep up with your hunger drain. As long as you stay on the move, getting this much food per day should be very easy to achieve leave. Any item which has a colored background behind its inventory icon means it can spoil. Green means it's fresh, orange means it's stale, and red means it is rotten. Food gives less stat restoration when they're stale or rotten. We won't need to worry about this as carrots stay fresh for 5 days before turning stale, and you'll probably use them before then. Now if you find that you did take some damage, then don't worry, as if you chase down a butterfly which spawns from a flower and force attack it, you will kill it in one hit. The butterfly wings the butterfly drops heal for 8 health. A few of these will go a long way in recovering early game health. Uh-oh, it just got a little darker outside. Dusk has arrived. During dusk, your sanity will slowly drain at 5 per minute, but we'll solve this sanity drain later. Also at dusk, some mobs will go home like butterflies and bees, while other mobs will come out to play like moleworms and spiders. You don't need to do anything differently than daytime during dusk. On the left side of your screen, you can enter the crafting menu. The crafting menu is neatly split into many different crafting categories. For now, we want to pay attention to the tools and light sources tabs. Craft yourself an axe. This can be used to chop down trees for logs and is better than your fists for a weapon. Then go into the light sources tab and craft a torch. We don't need the torch yet, but when nighttime comes, we'll need it to stay out of darkness. I like to order my inventory like this: weapon in the closest slot to my equipment, then light source, then tools, with all my materials on the left side of my inventory. Whichever way you order them, make sure you remember the order so you can quickly equip the right thing when you need it, especially your light source. If you stand in the darkness without a light source, your sanity will start dropping very fast. You will be unable to attack or work, and after a short delay, you will hear the creature of the night approach you, and if you're still in the darkness, she will hit you, dealing a massive amount of damage and reducing your sanity. This will happen until you get out of darkness or you die. This is why the torch is so important. Running around with the torch equipped allows you to continue to explore during the nighttime. If you'd rather have a bigger source of light, you can light a tree on fire to light up your whole screen, but make sure that there's nothing flammable near the tree as the fire will spread if so. You can also use some logs and grass to make a campfire. Throwing more logs onto the campfire will let it burn brighter and for longer. You can also cook on a campfire, but for now this is not very useful as cooked carrots give the same amount of hunger as raw carrots, and cooked berries only give 3 more hunger points than raw berries, so not really worth the time. You survived your first day. Good job. Let's keep gathering until you have 40 grass, 40 twigs, some flint, 20 logs, and all of your tools. Throughout your entire year, you'll want to keep picking grass and twigs so that you always have 40 of each in your inventory. Now it's time to look for gold. Gold is most commonly acquired by mining boulders with gold veins. These boulders can be found in the mosaic biome. This mosaic biome will always be connected to the starter biome, so run around the edge of the starter biome until you find the mosaic biome. The mosaic biome can be identified as it has a mismatch of a few different turfs, being green grassy, dark green forest, rocky, swamp, cobblestone, and patches with no turf. We're looking for the big patch of barren turf inside this biome, as that is where this biome has a meteor field which has a bunch of gold boulders in it. But be warned, your first dangerous enemy will be nearby. Toolbirds. Toolbirds will patrol an area around their nest and attack anything that gets too close, so stay away from those toolbirds while using your pickaxe to mine the gold rocks. If a toolbird makes this sound and starts moving towards you, simply run away until it stops chasing you. All the mobs in the game have an amount of time after which they will stop chasing you, and for toolbirds they only care about defending their nest, so once you're far enough away from their nest, they will lose interest in you. Keep mining until your pickaxe breaks, then make a new one, pick up all the rocks, flint, and gold that the gold boulders drop until you have 20 gold and 40 or so rocks. Then you'll be ready to make your first advancements in science. Using 4 logs from chopping trees, 4 rocks, and 1 gold nugget, you can open up the prototypers and stations tab in your crafting menu and craft yourself a science machine. You'll notice that when you craft the science machine, it consumes the materials to make it, but you don't have to place it right away. This way you can effectively store the materials for structures in the crafting tab until you're ready to place the structure. This applies to all structures in the game. Place down your science machine in a safe place and let's craft some essentials. The science machine unlocks more crafting recipes, and once you've crafted those recipes for the first time, you can then craft them again later without a science machine. Also, each time you craft a new crafting recipe for the very first time, you gain 15 sanity. The backpack in the storage solutions tab will give you extra inventory space, and you can change this setting in the settings menu to have your backpack appear under your inventory rather than to the side. In the weapons tab, you can craft a spear as it's a better weapon than an axe, but hopefully we won't need to use it. By clicking on the spear, your character will automatically craft any materials that you need to make the spear. Specifically, the spear requires a rope. This rope can be found in the refined materials tab and requires 3 grass to craft. In the armor tab, you'll find a log suit. This is going to be your first piece of armor, requiring 8 logs and 2 rope. This armor piece takes up your body slot the same as your backpack, so I'd recommend wearing your backpack, then when you're in danger, quickly equip the log suit, which will drop your backpack and grant you 80% physical damage reduction. And lastly, we'll make a hammer. This can be made without a science machine, but we're making it now to hammer down our science machine, to destroy it and get back half the materials it took to craft it, then pre-crafting another science machine in our crafting menu without placing it. Now that we have a basic weapon and armor, it's time to explore slightly more dangerous biomes. We're looking for forests next, specifically forests with dark green turf, and will contain hostile spiders and neutral pigs. Unless you're a monster character, then the pigs will also be hostile. There will be 2 guaranteed forests of this type in the world. These 2 guaranteed forests are the Mandrake Forest and the Moonstone Forest. You'll more than likely find the Mandrake Forest first, as it typically spawns connected closer to the starter biome than the Moonstone Forest, which usually generates far away from the starter biome. During your exploration, you may have found a wormhole. 4 pairs of wormholes spawn on your map, and when you jump into one, it will teleport you to its pair. This is great for exploration, as you will definitely find new biomes, but each time you jump into a wormhole, you will lose 15 sanity, so don't jump into them too many times to avoid going insane. You might even find Chester on your travels. He can be used for portable storage and a punching bag to distract enemies, but in case you don't find him, I won't be using him for anything essential in this guide, including storing things while I'm gathering materials and exploring the map. But if you find him, you absolutely can. After exploring, hopefully you found the Mandrake Forest. It's called that because it has a big patch of bright green turf in the middle of the forest with 2 to 4 mandrakes planted in the floor. But in the dark green turf areas, you'll find trees, pig houses, and spider dens. Depending on the time of day, the forest may be more or less dangerous for you. During daytime, pigs come out of their houses and spiders go back to their nests. Then during dusk and night, pigs go into their houses and spiders come out of their nests. And naturally, pigs will attack spiders on sight, so they might help you. Either way, we're going to evict and kill some piggies by hammering down their houses. Doing this gives you half the materials it takes to build a pig house, including boards and cut stone, the refined versions of logs and rocks, and of course pigskin. This pigskin is a key ingredient for making armor and your go-to weapon for a while. After evicting a piggy, make sure there's no other pigs around, then equip your spear and log suit and prepare to engage in combat. Attack the pig and dodge the pig's attack by stepping away, then run toward him quickly before he starts moving and do 3 or 4 hits before dodging again. If you get hit, it is okay, as your log suit will take 80% of the damage to its durability rather than your health. If you attack a pig with other pigs nearby, they will come to attack you too. This legion behavior is true for most mobs in the game. If you attack one, it will rile up other creatures of the same type nearby, so don't be attacking a pig if there's lots of them nearby. This means a decent strategy might be waiting for evening time, then hammering down 1 pig house at a time so you only have to fight 1 pig at a time. Once you have defeated the Pigman, good job! It has a 25% chance to drop pigskin, but ideally we want 2 bits of meat, which means killing pigs until you get those 2 bits of meat. If your log suit's durability gets low, then take some time out to chop down some trees and craft a new log suit. If you're wearing a piece of armor which breaks because it runs out of durability, your character will automatically equip another piece of the same armor from your inventory. Once you've acquired your 2 meat, good job! You can stop killing pigs now, but continue breaking their houses until you have 10 boards, 10 cut stone, and 10 pigskin. This equates to 5 total pig houses. What's up guys, it's me, Banjo the Business Pig. W.I. Ilson, I'd rather you didn't use your on my house. The only way I'll make that money back now is by having you listen to me talk to you about the new Red Magic 10 Pro. Red Magic sent me their new Red Magic 10 Pro, which I'm told has a major performance boost over all their previous generations. I of course used this extra performance to die faster in Don't Starve Pocket Edition, because no matter what, I will never be able to nicely use the controls on mobile. The 10 Pro features a new 1.5K AMOLED display to see even more colors and pixels while gaming at a refresh rate of 144Hz. And the new screen to body ratio is a massive 95.3%. Sleek. But what I'm most interested in is this new big battery of 7050 milliamp hours. Is that how you say it?
Milliamp hour?
Alright, sick. 7050 milliamp hour battery. I didn't have to charge the 10 Pro for days at a time while I was using it prior to writing this. And the most important feature is, of course, once again, customizable RGB lighting, baby! Otherwise, the audio and cameras are of course very premium, as to be expected from a premium gaming smartphone. Wait. Anime Girl Virtual Assistant? Whoa! If you're interested in the Red Magic 10 Pro, be sure to click my link in the description to get your hands on it, or perhaps ask Santa very nicely for it for Christmas. Anyway, thanks to Red Magic for sponsoring the video. If you're a beginner, you're probably very confused at Banjo the Business Pig coming out of a pig house to sell you things, but this probably won't happen in your game. Probably? Anyway, back to the guide. Resurrection tip. See this? This is a touchstone. You may find some of these around your map. If you die for whatever reason, float your ghostly being over to one of these and haunt it to be brought back to life. Then go back to where you died to pick up your stuff. Hopefully you stored anything edible in your backpack so pigs and spiders didn't eat any of it. Now let's take on a spider nest for 8 silk. We'll avoid combat as much as possible, but still wear your log suit. You're going to craft a trap in the tools tab, drop it and go close to a spider so it starts chasing you. If all the spiders are inside their nest, then step on the web around the nest to coax out some spiders. Then lure them into the trap and bam! You can grab the spider from the trap and murder it in your inventory. Repeat this without attacking any spiders so you don't upset any nearby spiders. Then when and only when a spider nest is empty, attack and destroy the nest for extra silk. If the nest is level 2 or 3, then a spider warrior may come out of the nest. Lure it into your trap like before to dispatch it. Find a safe place, then place down that science machine you pre-crafted earlier. Then in the same tab you'll see you have the Alchemy Engine unlocked. Clicking on it twice will craft the 2 electrical doodads you need from the Refined Materials tab, and a third click will pre-craft the Alchemy Engine. But don't place it down quite yet. Craft a top hat with 6 silk in the clothing tab. This hat will slowly regenerate your sanity while it's equipped. This will mostly solve our sanity issues for now, although if you are confident in killing nightmare creatures and want the nightmare fuel, then just ignore your sanity and kill the nightmare creatures when they attack you. Next, craft a bug net in the tools tab using the last 2 silk you have. You're going to use this bug net to catch some fireflies. You may have already seen them glowing during nighttime, so when you do see them, grab one of them with your bug net. And then once you have your hands on one set of fireflies, you can drop your bug net because you won't be needing it. One final time, you're going to hammer down the science machine and pre-craft another one in your crafting tab without placing it down. Hopefully on your journey you have spotted a plugged sinkhole which is surrounded in barren turf. We're going to use a pickaxe to crack this cave entrance open and delve down into the caves. We just want 2 light bulbs from the caves, which are obtained by picking them off these light plants. Then we're heading back to the surface. Place the alchemy engine down and craft yourself a lantern in the light tab. This lantern will be your main light source for a while, as it can be placed on the floor and continue giving off light, allowing you to work in the darkness without setting trees on fire and freeing up your hand slot. The lantern has durability, but when it gets low, just hop back into the caves to grab 5 light bulbs and feed them to your lantern, which will fully restore your lantern's durability. Using those 2 bits of meat you battled for, you can craft your new weapon, the Handbat. This weapon has infinite uses, but slowly rots over time. The more rotten it is, the less damage it deals. Let's utilize our head slot by crafting a football helmet from the armor tab. This armor piece goes on your head, but is otherwise the same as a log suit. It has 315 health and reduces damage by 80%. Always equip this if you feel you're in danger, or just always keep it equipped, because then you'll be really hard to die with 80% damage reduction equipped. If you ever need reminding about these numbers, you can go into your scrapbook in-game, where the information is stored about items and mobs that you've encountered. Now you can always have armor equipped along with your backpack, so you're always protected. You can keep your log suit if you'd like, but equipping both a log suit and a football helmet won't reduce the damage by more than 80%. The durability loss will just be split between the helmet and the suit. If you found fireflies already, then great, use them to make yourself a minor hat out of your alchemy engine. This light source is useful as it goes on your head, freeing up your hand slot and being more convenient than a lantern for light when you want to work, as it stays on your head and therefore follows you around. If you didn't find fireflies yet, don't worry, just keep using your lantern and keep your eyes open for fireflies during nighttime. With your new weapon and armor, fearlessly head back into the forest and defeat some more spiders along with their nests. We now want 10 total silk. If you're lucky, a pigman may be nearby and help you with the spiders, or even take their aggression away from you entirely. You'll be able to kill normal spiders in 2 hits, but if you don't want to fight, that's no problem, you can just use a trap instead like you did before. Next, you'll need some charcoal. This can be acquired from burnt objects, most commonly trees. Light a tree on fire using a torch and watch the fire spread. Hopefully it doesn't burn down the entire forest, because you only need to burn 20 trees. If the fire spreads to a lot more trees than that, then simply run away, because in this game, when you're not close to an area, it becomes unloaded, which effectively pauses the area of the game, including stopping fires from spreading. A quick way to unload an area is jumping through a wormhole. Once you have burnt trees, chop them down for up to 40 charcoal. On your adventures, you probably spotted some rabbits and their rabbit holes. In the starter biome, there will be a few rabbits, and in the savannah biome, there will be even more. The savannah biome has a yellow hay-like turf. Whichever biome you find, you need 4 rabbits. In the tools tab, craft another trap. Then drop this trap between a rabbit and its hole. You do this because when you approach a rabbit, it will always try to go back to its hole while also trying to stay away from you. You can use this behavior to guide the rabbit into your trap. If it's dusk or night, then you can use a shovel to force the rabbit out of its hole into your trap. Put down your science machine and craft a shovel if you need it to get the rabbits out of of their holes, then with your 4 rabbits and your top hat, pre-craft a Prestihatitator from the magic tab. This is effectively the magic equivalent of the science machine. Then make yourself a new fresh top hat. Now you can leave the science machine there, we won't need it again. Finally, you may have seen one of 3 scary clockwork creatures on your adventures. If you did, then go back to where you saw them and take them out. These robots drop gears, which are used to make a fridge. If your clockwork is a bishop, then just hold the attack button to kill it as fast as you can while wearing your handbat and armor, as it has a ranged attack which can be tough to dodge. If your clockwork is a knight, you can do 2 attacks, 3 if you're quick, before dodging and running back toward the knight to attack, as the knight, like a pigman, will try to kite you. Finally, the rook. This clockwork will switch between charging toward you to attack, then charging away from you to kite. So the best you can do is run really close to him and then start attacking. This way, when he begins to charge, hopefully your attacks will stagger him out of charging. Be careful though, the rook's charge is destructive, so will destroy structures that it rams through, although you can use this to make it chop down some trees for you. Pick up all the gears from your clockworks, and also grab the purple gem if you killed the bishop. If you didn't find a clockwork, don't worry, neither did I. You'll be doing more map exploration soon, which will eventually unveil the guaranteed clockwork knight set piece somewhere in the world, or another set piece that may give you gears. While exploring, you may find set pieces which give you free resources. Some of these are traps, some are just free stuff, so I'll let you discover those for yourself. Base location and food source. So you've gathered most of the things you need to set up a base, but where should you set up your base? I like to set up my base roughly in the middle of the map, or close to useful biomes, with any useful wormholes nearby, a sinkhole somewhat nearby for access to the caves, and if you're a beginner, you'll value having a spawning neutral mob nearby to help fight any hostile enemies that come to find you. We'll achieve all of this by basing inside of a safe biome like a green grassy biome, with a wormhole and sinkhole a short distance away, and we'll create a defense from hound attacks by bringing a Beefalo to our base later. What's a hound attack? Don't worry, I'll explain later. As for the base setup, we just want to make sure the base is no bigger than a 7x7 tile square with inverted corners. With a pitchfork, you can see the individual tiles that make up the map's floor. Here's a picture of the base that we're building towards. You don't need to copy it exactly, but it gives a good idea of what you might want in your essential base. You won't be able to build it like this straight away, so we'll be slowly adding to it over the entire first year. You can point your camera in any direction you want for building, but I like to build square on rather than diagonally, so I'm going to place my Alchemy Engine here, Prestihatitator here, throw down a chest somewhere from the storage solutions tab, and put resources in there to free up my inventory. You can drop things on the floor for storage, but beware, mobs can steal items. Moleworms will steal all rocks and minerals, catcoons will steal a variety of items, and pigmen, hounds, basilisks, spiders, vultures will eat things like pigskin and meat off of the floor. Since I didn't find the guaranteed clockwork knight set piece, I went back to the mandrake forest where you'll find a scrapyard. Each time you search a junk pile, you have a chance of finding a gear, and hey, I found one. If you were unlucky and didn't get a gear still, then dig up some graves from the mosaic biome for a chance at gears, but keep an eye on your sanity, as digging up a grave reduces your sanity by 15. Using that one precious gear, we're going to craft a fridge and put it here. This will reduce the spoilage time of your food by 2 times while the food is inside it. Then using our charcoal, we're going to craft 3 crockpots from the cooking tab. Place them here and here, directly adjacent to the fridge, and then 1 crockpot above the fridge. You can get away with just using 1 crockpot, but I'm going to opt for 3 because it looks neat and you can cook 3 things at once then. The crockpot unlocks the ability to combine ingredients to make recipes which give stats greater than the sums of its components, or different stats entirely. For this video, we'll focus on only a few essential dishes to keep it simple. For hunger, meatballs and meaty stew. Meatballs are made with 1 of any type of meat and 3 fillet ingredients like berries, carrots, or any other vegetables. They give 62.5 hunger, 3 health, and 5 sanity. But don't make this dish to heal your health or sanity, there will be much better options for that later. And if your sanity is a problem, make sure you put on that top hat. Meaty stew can be made by using 3 meat value and any filler. To achieve 3 meat value, you can use lots of combinations. A meat and a monster meat are both 1 meat value, so together make 2, while a morsel is only half a meat value, so using 2 of those makes 1. So 1 meat, 1 monster meat, and 2 morsels will make meaty stew. Meaty stew gives a massive 150 hunger, filling up the stomachs of most players from 0, while also giving 12 health and 5 sanity. But again, don't make this to heal your health and sanity, there will be a lot better options a little later. For now, if you need to heal, keep knocking down those butterflies. But be careful, with all recipes in the game, don't put more than 1 monster meat into the crockpot to make a dish, as monster meat is poisonous and will transform your dish into monster lasagna if you were to use more than 1 monster meat. Plant all those pine cones you collected outside your base. This will kickstart your own tree farm at your base, which you'll continually chop down for your wood supply. Did you find the orange deciduous pig king biome yet? If so, make sure to grab Glommer on your first full moon during the night of day 11. Glommer poops highly efficient fuel for campfires, which you can also eat for some healing, but it really hurts your sanity. Pigmen also transform to werepigs during a full moon, and you can use their gluttony for lots of poop for fuel for your fires. Drop non-meat edible items on the floor for them to eat. They'll poop once for every item. Then if you're feeling brave, dispatch the werepig for 2 meat and 1 pigskin. Full moons repeat every 20 days after day 11. While you're here, Pig King is a good source of gold. Trading him 1 meat item that isn't monster meat will reward you with 1 gold per item. And if you find trinkets from tumbleweeds or graves, he'll reward you with lots more gold. Back to the Alchemy Engine to make yourself a garden digmajig. This will allow you to use those seeds you've been collecting this whole time. Place the digmajig here and let it do its thing. Once it's done, it will place a tile of farming turf beneath it. Repeat this 3 more times so you have a 2x2 tile square of farming turf below your crockpots. Clean up your farm by digging up any rocks sticking out of it. Now make yourself a garden hoe at the Alchemy Engine. This is used for tilling spots into your farming turf to plant seeds. You could make the splendid garden hoe if you want using gold rather than flint, but the difference between gold and flint tools is just that gold tools last longer, they don't work faster or anything. Now plant 36 seeds or as many seeds as you have while leaving 5 seeds left over in your fridge, which you will need for later. Farming is one of the best ways to get food for hunger, healing, and even sanity, and it can be done from the comfort of your own base. It's also very satisfying. I'm not going to give you a full guide on farming, just the essentials, so here goes. When a crop fully grows, it will give the fruit or vegetable it grew, and it can give 1, 2, or 0 seeds of that specific crop type, depending on how happy you made the crop. The most essential and easiest 3 ways to make a crop happy are: talk to them at the beginning of each of their growth stages, including after you plant them, water them using a watering can on each growth stage, and digging up any debris or weeds close by. At the moment, you have wild seeds. These seeds will grow into random crops or weeds, which you cannot control, nor can you tell what they'll grow into until they've grown a bit. There's more ways to make crops happier, but we'll cover that later when you can actually control what you plant and where. So for now, talk to your plants if you happen to be at the base when they need talking to, and craft a watering can, fill it up at a pond, then water the plants when you talk to them. Now that your crops are growing, let's unclutter your inventory. Chop down some trees and craft a chest or 2 from the Storage Solutions tab and place them down. You can make more chests if you'd like, but for now we just want enough to put things in which aren't food and we don't need in our inventory. You can also drop things on the floor as storage, but it might get messy. Let's make a light source for the base. Craft a fire pit from the Light Sources tab costing 12 rocks and 2 logs. This is like a campfire except it can't spread fires, and when it goes out it doesn't disappear, you just need to refuel it. Place it about here, which is 1 tile below the center tile of the base, and then it will light up most of your base. If you have food that is in the red zone, so close to spoiling, cook it on your fire pit to extend its spoilage time. Then at the Alchemy Engine, craft a razor in the tool tab and a beefalo bell in the beefalo riding tab. Did you spot any beefalo on your travels? If yes, head back to them. If not, then head back to the savannah biome if you found it, not the mini one in the starter biome, or the other mini savannah patch which is inside the mandrake forest. During nighttime, you can use your razor to shave beefalo to acquire some wool. We want at least 8 beefalo wool for our crafting recipe, but wool makes for a good fuel source too. Then once you're done shaving, use your beefalo bell on any of the beefalo. This allows you to name the beefalo, but more importantly, the beefalo will now be tethered to your bell, so it follows it no matter where it goes. To kill a beefalo, drag the beefalo you tethered to the bell far away from its herd so that you can't see any other beefalo on your screen, then start attacking. Do 1 attack and dodge, then the pattern is 6 attacks, 7 if you're fast, then dodge and repeat until the beefalo dies. You're hoping for a beefalo horn drop, but it's not guaranteed, so repeat killing beefalo with your handbat and armor until you get one, but stop killing beefalo if there's only 1 left in the herd, because if you kill all the beefalo in a herd, that herd will not be able to multiply. Remember to pick up all the meat and wool from your beefalo kills. Once you did or didn't get a horn from killing beefalo, tether one of the beefalo to your bell, even if it's the last beefalo, and bring it back to your base. Leave this beefalo's bell about a screen or 2's distance away from your base. Now if you need something to distract hostile mobs like hounds, you can run over to your beefalo, who have a lot of health, and will deal with the threat. Hound attacks happen throughout the year. You'll hear distant barking, then after a short delay, hounds will begin appearing and coming for you. Run to another mob like beefalo and simply run around, and eventually the hounds will stop and bark, which means they might switch attack targets, and they might target the beefalo. In the early game, you don't get lots of hounds per hound attack, so you might be brave enough to take them out yourself. For a hound, the kiting pattern is 2 attacks, then dodge. How are your crops doing? Whether they're fully grown or still growing, you'll notice that they don't have names, they're just called plant. That's because we must do something to research each plant's name. At your Alchemy Engine in the farming tab, you'll see the gardener hat. We want to craft this, but it requires 3 seeds, an electrical doodad, and a bucket of poop. The bucket of poop can be made in the same tab using 4 logs, 2 bone shards, and 3 manure. The manure you can get from Beefalo, which will occasionally poop, or by feeding a Pigmen non-meat food like petals, light bulbs, or vegetables. The bone shards will be the hardest thing to get, as you'll need to hammer some bones or skeletons for them. These bones can be found in either of the 2 deserts or from skeletons which you may have found spotted around the map in random set pieces. Once you've crafted your bucket of poop and gardener hat, you can equip it to unlock the option to research your plants. Researching your plants on every growth stage will eventually reveal the plant's name, allowing you to know what plants are growing and what crop seeds will grow into without remembering just what they look like. You'll also learn which plants are weeds. In your gardener hat interface, it's the last 4 plants on your register. Those are all weeds, so if you see them, go ahead and dig them up to make the rest of your crops happier. Did you spot a swamp on your travels? I hope so. Either a big swamp or a mini swamp will do. Head back there and grab yourself 10 reeds. Make sure to stay on the move and always wear armor, as the swamp is very hostile with hidden enemies, fast enemies, and lots of very small enemies. If you didn't find a swamp, then take the spare time you have before winter to explore to try to find it. Back to your Alchemy Engine and get those 2 seeds that you saved, 6 gold, and then craft 2 papyrus using 8 of the reeds that you picked in the refined tab. Then use all those items to craft a birdcage from the farming tab. Place the birdcage here. This is outside of your base, but bird cages can't catch fire, so it's okay that it's placed outside of your base. Now make a bird trap using 3 twigs and 4 silk from the farming tab and place it down somewhere in your base. Birds will periodically spawn around the player, so this trap will eventually catch a bird, and when it does, pick the bird up and place it in your bird cage. When you feed any meat to this caged bird, it'll poop out an egg, which is an essential ingredient but also great for getting use out of meat that's about to spoil, even monster meat. Eggs will unlock your next essential crockpot recipe, pierogi. I said it right, I'm pretty sure. A classic for a reason. One of any meat, including monster meat, 1 egg, 1 vegetable, and any filler, including a second egg, will make pierogi. This crockpot dish heals for a massive 40 health, 37.5 hunger, and 5 sanity. You should make this food for healing, as it does it very well and can be made cheaply due to the interactions with the birdcage. Put down a chest near your farm to store all those farming tools, and once again, how are your crops doing? If they're fully grown and you've researched them, go ahead and pick them. You'll see our wild seeds grew into various crops, but which ones do you need? Well, this is the essential guide, so let's make it simple. Potatoes and tomatoes. Tomatoes? Tomatoes? Yes. This is all you will essentially need for all 3 hunger, health, and sanity. Also, choosing these crops means that no matter what the season is, you will always be able to grow at least one of them or sometimes both of them. Cooked potato or tomato will heal for 20 health, while hunger-wise, cooked potatoes will give 25 hunger, while cooked tomatoes will give 12.5 hunger. Another essential service the bird in the cage will do for you is when you feed it any farm crop, the bird will poop out one of that crop's seed. So do whatever you'd like to the other crops that you have, but feed all of your potatoes and tomatoes to your bird. But Jakey, why not cook and eat the potatoes and tomatoes? Well, that's because we want to build up a good amount of each tomato and potato seeds, which won't take long. You want at least 4 of each seed to start getting more and more seeds. We want to build up to 16 of each tomato and potato seeds. So go ahead and plant your potato and tomato seeds like this, with 4 of each seed being in each farm tile until you run out of them. Then plant your remaining wild seeds if you have any. Since you have 4 of each crop seed, your plants will be a little happier since they are happy when they are close by to 3 of the same type of crop, so in groups of 4. Along with this, there's a somewhat complex farming nutrient system which I'm not going to dive into because we do not need to, but what you should know is that potatoes produce the nutrients that tomatoes need, and tomatoes produce the nutrients that potatoes need, so they'll be even happier again if planted at a ratio of 1 tomato for every 1 potato on the same farming tile. Planting them like this will probably get you 2 seeds along with the crop when you harvest them. Once you've got your 4 or more tomato and potato seeds, you don't have to pick up any more wild seeds if you don't want to, since we just wanted the wild seeds to get enough potato and tomato seeds. In the blank spot in the top left of the base, you can build whatever you'd like. I've specifically designed this mini base so that you can do whatever you want in that top left corner, but it can be a decent idea to make a few drying racks. Drying racks will dry a piece of meat no matter how spoiled it is, over up to 2 days when it's not raining into a fully fresh jerky version of that meat, which takes a lot longer to spoil and gives increased stats when eaten. Turning big meat into a jerky gives 20 health, 15 sanity, and 25 hunger. So for example, making 2 jerkies is better than turning those 2 meats into 1 pierogi, since they give sanity and don't require vegetables to cook while healing for the same amount. Prepare for winter. It's day 20, the day before winter, so let's prepare. The main threat in winter is the cold. The world's temperature will drop below freezing, and if you start freezing, you take damage to your health and will die. So we'll make 2 things, a Beefalo hat in the winter items tab with the horn and wool we got, and a thermal stone also in the winter items tab. Then make yourself a torch and grab yourself some logs and grass if you want an emergency campfire. Now you're set for winter. Winter has started and it is cold. Since it's cold, some mobs won't spawn anymore, like butterflies and bees, birds won't drop seeds anymore, and most plants like grass, saplings, and berry bushes will stop growing during winter. But new mobs with new drops will emerge. The cold makes things spoil 25% slower, like your food and habitat, but the cold can also cause you to freeze. You have 2 simple options to stay warm, the thermal stone or winter insulation, like the Beefalo hat. The Beefalo hat provides winter insulation while you are wearing it. This means your body temperature will fall much slower than normal while wearing it. So after warming yourself up next to a campfire or a burning tree to the point you're about to overheat, you put the Beefalo hat on and go on with your travels until you get cold again. The thermal stone works a little differently. The thermal stone also needs to be warmed up from a heat source like a campfire or burning tree, and it stores this heat as its internal temperature. Depending on the internal temperature of the thermal stone, it will emit an amount of heat to anything nearby, including you, like while you're holding it. The internal temperature of the thermal stone will gradually fall, and as it falls, it will emit a weaker amount of heat, until the thermal stone turns grey, which means it is no longer emitting heat, and your body temperature will start falling rapidly. Unless of course you're wearing a Beefalo hat, then your body temperature will fall slower. Both options are good, but I'd probably recommend the thermal stone as it frees up your head slot, allowing you to always wear armor so you don't take a lot of damage. But if you're confident in wearing no armor and equipping body armor when you're in trouble, then the Beefalo hat can be a little better than the thermal stone, but there's not a lot in it. If your character has a beard and or you want to wear body insulation along with the Beefalo hat, like a puffy vest, then insulation will keep you warmer for longer than a thermal stone. But in this playthrough, I'm shaving my Wilson's beard so I don't gain any benefit from it, so that my strategies stay essential and generic. A campfire won't heat you up as much as a burning tree. This is where you can use both the thermal stone and Beefalo hat. Set a tree on fire and drop your thermal stone next to it, then equip your Beefalo hat and do some work nearby. This way your thermal stone is heating up, while your Beefalo hat slows your temperature loss while you're away from your thermal stone. During winter, you may get ice hounds as part of hound attacks that come your way. These ice hounds have 100 health rather than 150 health of normal hounds, and they explode in an icy fashion upon death. If you get caught in the explosion of 2 ice hounds in quick succession, you will become frozen. Being frozen stops you from doing anything until you automatically thaw out after a few seconds, or you get hit, which also forces you out of being frozen. And farming wise, tomatoes don't like growing in winter, so won't be happy and will grow very slowly. So if you farm in winter, farm only potatoes. Now this goes for all seasons, but before leaving the base, think light, fight, and food. I'm pretty sure I heard Jazzy say that once. That is to say, you should have a light source, armor and weapons to fight, and food to not starve and heal in an emergency. Now's the time to make yourself a fresh hambat if your current one is stale or rotten. Acquire a walking cane. In winter, a few new mobs spawn. One of these mobs are the tusk hunting party, and they have a drop which gives you some easy speed bonus, so you want to prioritize hunting them down. This mob will have a guaranteed spawn location in the Moonstone Forest, which you may have found. If not, like me, then now's the time to search for it. The Moonstone Forest has a dark green forest turf, and inside it will be a patch of light green grass turf, which is where the tusk party will be. You will also have a chance that your world will have a special biome called the triple tusk biome. This biome will have savanna, rocky, and green grass turfs, with one tusk camp residing on each different patch of turf. If you're struggling to find the Moonstone Forest, simply follow the edge of the biome so you can outline your map. You'll eventually find the forest. It's usually one of the last few biomes on a branch of biomes, if not the last. Once you've found a tusk camp, make sure you warmed up your thermal stone, equip your weapon and armor, and charge in. If it's daytime, the tusk party will hunt you, which can be deadly as the tusk has a range attack. But don't worry, just run straight toward the big tusk until he runs away. Keep following him while ignoring the 2 ice hounds and the baby tusk. Then eventually the big tusk will turn around and start walking back to his home. This is where you'll be able to easily kill him. Once he's dead, you can take out the ice hounds, which will take 2 hits from a fresh handbat to kill. When they die, they explode into ice, causing your frost levels to increase. And like I said before, if you kill both hounds in quick succession, you will become frozen for a short time. To avoid this, simply wait a few seconds between each hound kill for your frost to decrease. These hounds drop monster meat, hound's teeth, and a chance at blue gems. You want to pick up all of this, especially the hound's teeth, because you'll want them in spring. And also, using the blow dart that the big Mac Tusk drops, you can use that to kill little Tusk, because normally he runs away from you. Free meat. Hopefully the big Mac Tusks drop to you a walrus tusk, and maybe even a tam o'shanter. The walrus tusk has a 50% chance to drop, and can be crafted into a walking cane back at your alchemy engine, which gives a 25% speed bonus while wearing it. And the tam o'shanter provides half the winter insulation of the Beefalo hat, but gives a massive 6.67 positive sanity aura per minute while wearing it. If the Mac Tusk didn't drop you a walrus tusk, like in my playthrough, then look at the current day and time of day, because you'll be coming back here in 2.5 days when the Mac Tusk respawns to try your luck at getting his drops again. You should keep doing this until you get both the tusk and the tam o'shanter. Once you have your walking cane, I like to organize my inventory from right to left with a walking cane, a weapon, a light source, and backup armor. This way I can easily switch between the walking cane for extra speed and the weapon when I need to attack, and basically just always wear the walking cane if you're not attacking. Even during nighttime, I'll opt to use the walking cane and a miner hat with my thermal stone so I can move faster while having a light source while also staying warm. Light tip. During winter, the thermal stone can get so warm that it will emit a little bit of light. So while your thermal stone is orange, you technically don't need a light source. You won't be able to see a lot, but the thermal stone will protect you from darkness until it gets cold, then it will stop protecting you from darkness. This is something I didn't find in my autumn exploration. Pig heads. Hammering these will give you 2 pigskin and some twigs. Ham them down if you find them if you want some pigskin. Acquire ice. Next on the list is ice. If you've ever walked near water during winter, you would have been jump scared by some penguins that leap out of the water and make their icy nests nearby. Their icy nests include ice glaciers, which can be mined for ice. So follow the penguins to their nest and don't worry, they will not attack you. Then mine all of their ice. This ice will not ever spoil if it's kept inside a fridge, and it works as good filler for a lot of recipes. We also need it for a crafting recipe in summer, so make sure to save 15 ice for summer. But grab some extra for crockpot recipes, perhaps get 40 or so ice, but more won't hurt. Using this ice you can make a sanity restoring dish in a crockpot. 2 tomatoes, another vegetable like a carrot or a third tomato, and 1 ice will make a vegetable stinger. This recipe restores 33 sanity. Hopefully you'll still be using your top hat or have upgraded to a tam o'shanter for the majority of your sanity restoration. Explore the map some more. Your next milestone will be day 30, so until then explore the map. Discover what's hiding in the constant, acquire more ice, maybe farm some potatoes, but definitely kill some more Mac Tusks. This is the essential guide, so I won't be filling the gaps in my playthrough with anything that isn't just the essentials. This gives you time to do whatever you feel like doing, although it would be greatly beneficial if you could find one of the 2 deserts. These biomes have a sandy turf with 2 different types of cacti in them. Dragonfly Desert has round cacti, and the Oasis Desert has tall cacti. Quick tip! If you're low on gold and have some spoiling meat or monster meat, feed it to your bird to transform it into eggs. Then if you want, give those eggs to Pig King for easy gold for meat that would have otherwise spoiled. Light tip. Go into the caves and grab 20 light bulbs and store them in your fridge. This way you won't have to go into the caves every time to refill your lantern and miner hat durability. Pig poop tip. Craft a pig house close by and feed the pig 4 monster meat whenever you want a handbat. 4 monster meat transforms a pig into a werepig, and a werepig drops enough meat and pig skin to make a handbat. While he's a werepig, why not drop some unwanted non-meat food items on the floor, like spoiling light bulbs for mounds of poop. Hound tip. When a hound attack happens with ice hounds, try to kill the ice hounds first. When they die, they will instantly freeze the other normal hounds around them. And lastly, fire tip. Throw a low % durability log suit into a fire to benefit from its massive fuel value without losing much since its durability was already low. Now prepare for a boss fight. Day 30 has arrived and your first necessary boss fight will be approaching during the nighttime. To prepare, we'll need 2 lots of armor, a campfire pre-built, some healing food, and some cactus. Hopefully you found a desert biome. If so, go ahead and equip your armor and pick 15 cactus. This cactus will damage you when you pick it, but your armor will reduce the damage to 1 or 2. Cook this cactus at a campfire and you'll have cooked cactus flesh. This food item will heal your sanity by 15 each. To keep the fight simple, we want to avoid going insane during the fight, as that could be overwhelming and cause you to die. With 1 board at your alchemy engine, craft a sign and a fresh handbat, and then head out of your base before nighttime begins. Ideally, you want to find an acute angled bit of land like this, away from your base. Place your sign away from the vertex of the acute angle, then cower back to the vertex of the angle. Man, these math words, man, they're crazy. Once nighttime begins, you'll hear something sinister approaching. Place down your campfire and fuel it with 3 logs, charcoal, a poop, or maybe a Glommer goop. Then pay attention, because the growl after your character comments on the growls, the boss will have spawned. You'll then see that a giant boss has attacked your sign and destroyed it. Deerclops is here and will have just spawned just off your screen somewhere around you. But since we're standing on an acute angle of land, it forces her to spawn in a very predictable area, since she must spawn on the same land mass as you, and then you're baiting her in with the sign. Run over to Deerclops until it screams because it has seen you. Now let it follow you back to your campfire and get ready to fight. For simplicity, since we have armor, healing, and sanity food, we can tank Deerclops next to our fire so we don't get frozen by its attacks, while also making sure not to be standing directly underneath Deerclops as to not cause our sanity to plummet super fast. Standing just within melee range rather than on top of Deerclops will substantially reduce the sanity drain done to us. As your sanity drops, make sure to eat cactus so that you don't go insane. When your health drops by 40, make sure to eat a pierogi and then continue to attack. And after a few pierogi or cooked potatoes, good job! You have defeated your very first boss. Pick up the meat and the Deerclops eyeball. This is a crucial crafting material that we'll need very soon. If you want to try your hand at kiting Deerclops, then it's pretty easy. Having a walking cane will make it a little easier, so here goes. Deerclops has only the one basic attack and will hit pretty much exactly when and where her icicles from her attacks spawn. This means she attacks in a long cone shape in front of her and a small circular area at her feet. To dodge this, back away from Deerclops a little bit as she starts her attack and then move sideways. This will get you away from her feet and dodge the cone. If you don't fight Deerclops or didn't find her when she spawned, this is what her behavior will cause her to do. She will walk around attacking anything that gets too close while heading towards structures that she can destroy. She can see and detect structures that are loaded in, which is a massive area, so if you're too close to your base, she will head straight into it to destroy some structures because it has some. Once she has found and destroyed 5 structures, she will smile at a proud day's work and then begin walking off screen. Once she has made it off screen while smiling and unloads from getting too far away from you, then she will despawn, meaning you can't kill her for her drops. If she walks off screen and she's not smiling, then she won't despawn. She'll be right where you left her when you return. That is, as long as you return before the next season spring starts, as when spring starts on day 36, Deerclops will also walk off screen, unload, and then despawn. When Deerclops tries to walk off screen, you can of course chase her to prevent her from despawning, but it just means you have to deal with her there and then. This is all to say it's best to kill Deerclops when she spawns so you know where she is and you don't lose her. Prepare for spring. Spring starts on day 36. Until then, you can do some more exploration, but also make sure to prepare for spring. Spring will start with cold temperatures for the first 2 nights, so you will need your thermal stone, but then will slowly warm up. But the main threat is rain and lightning. Rain causes you to get wet, which can cause you to get cold, freeze, drop items, and plummet your sanity. To protect against the rain, we'll make the umbrella. To make this, we need the Deerclops eyeball, bone shards by hammering bones in the desert or skeletons, and 15 twigs. This hat item provides 100% rain and lightning resistance, but takes up your head slot, and you can only make as many as you have Deerclops eyeballs. So if you're in a team or you didn't manage to kill Deerclops, then there are a few alternatives. A football helmet and an umbrella together provide over 100% rain resistance. Both require pigskin to make, and the football helmet will act as armor too, but this combination doesn't have any lightning resistance, so if lightning strikes you, you'll take about 13 damage and be stunned for a short amount of time. The final option I'd recommend is the raincoat. This provides 100% rain and lightning resistance and is worn on your body slot. But the problem is it requires 2 tentacle spots to make. These tentacle spots have a chance to be dropped by tentacles in the swamp, though these tentacles are a little tricky to fight as you need to bait them out of the ground by standing close to them, then dodging, then hitting them to stagger them so you have enough time to run away to dodge their next attack and repeat. At your Alchemy Engine, build yourself a lightning rod in the structures tab. Place this lightning rod in or around your base. This will attract lightning to hit it safely rather than striking you or your base, which would set fire to whatever it hits. In my playthrough, I killed Tusk 4 times and he didn't drop me a tusk, so I explored some more of the map and found the triple tusk biome, where I got myself 3 tusks and an extra camo chanter, not acquiring my walking cane until almost day 34. Lucky I got the triple biome because it's not guaranteed. Hopefully you'll have better luck than me and get your walking cane very early on in winter. Spring has started, and you'll be using using whatever rain resistant solution you chose a lot during this season, so much so that you will probably need to repair your clothing items with a sewing kit. This sewing kit is crafted with hound's teeth, silk, and a log. It has 5 uses and each use will partially repair clothing items' durability, but it does not work on armor. You want to repair clothing as clothing items normally get destroyed if their durability drops to 0%, so get into the habit of repairing your clothing items once they drop below 45% durability. Tomatoes and potatoes like to both grow in spring, so if you want to do some farming, plant them in a 4-to-4 combination on each farming tile like you did before for some tomatoes, potatoes, and lots of seeds, because they will be very happy. During spring, hound attacks will continue to have ice hounds as part of them, and you'll notice that more of the hound attack is ice hounds rather than normal hounds. While exploring in spring, you might notice these lure plant bulbs spawning around the world. These lure plant bulbs spawn in locations where you have previously visited. This means you'll usually find them in and around your base. Lure plants will start spawning eye plants in a larger radius around them after they've been growing for 2 days. These eye plants will eat everything, including items and small mobs, and store them in the main lure plant bulb where the items are slowly digested and deleted. So kill it as soon as possible if it ate one of your important items. How to kill a lure plant: carve your way through them to get to the lure plant bulb in the center, then kill it. Easy. Defeating a lure plant will kill all the eye plants instantly and drop its bulb, which you can plant anywhere. Lure plants make good hound defense and distractions. As long as your base is fully turfed in non-compost like turf, like cobblestone, carpet, or wood flooring, among a few others, then the eye plants won't be able to spawn on that turf, forcing the eye plants to only spawn outside of your base. Let's get a supply of grass and twigs growing in your base for convenience. Take a shovel and dig up 16 saplings and 16 grass tufts from somewhere that isn't right next to your base, and then bring them back to your base. Then plant them like this. 16 of each means you can fill one whole tile with each plant type. Once you've planted the saplings, they'll start growing right away, but the grass tufts will need to be fertilized with rot, manure, rotten eggs, or anything else that's poop-like. Otherwise, you could do some farming, explore the world some more, and work on the base by chopping down some trees for wood to build more chests. And meet the Treeguard mini-boss that you will probably encounter if you chop down trees for wood. When you chop down a tree, you have a small chance that a nearby tree, or 2, or 3, will transform into Treeguards, and they'll become aggressive to whoever or whatever chopped down the tree that spawned them. These mini-bosses have health between 2,100 and 3,750, depending on how big they are. You can plant pine cones to pacify them, but ultimately you'll need to kill them as they'll just become aggressive to you again as soon as you take another swing at a tree. Do 4 or 5 hits, then equip your walking cane and dodge. Repeat this until they die. Your reward will be a monster meat and living logs. Living logs are used in magical recipes, including the Shadow Manipulator and Dark Swords, which we'll craft later. Although you can craft it now if you want. How about another boss fight? This boss fight is technically optional, but this is the seasonal spring boss, the Moose Goose. It has a unique drop which I would recommend getting in preparation for summer, but there are other options for summer, so don't worry if you don't want to fight this next boss. For the fight, you'll want a weapon, armor, your walking cane, and some healing food. You can find this boss at their nesting ground, which were those little patches of sticks near those ponds, which are surrounded by a few trees, 3 carrots, which you probably picked, and 5 berry bushes. But now those sticks are turned into a Moose Goose nest. If there is no nest, then that nest is not active. This Moose Goose won't chase you very far and will de-aggro once you're far enough away from its nest. You need to fight the boss not too far from its nest. If you attack during nighttime, the adult and babies will be asleep, so you can kill the babies or at least damage them while they sleep, then run away until they fall asleep again, and repeat until morning. How to fight the boss. It has 2 attacks. A normal attack where it hits you with its horns, which deals 75 damage, so we're going to dodge this, and a honk attack which causes you to drop your equipped weapon. The honk attack has a cooldown such that the boss will usually do 3 normal attacks, then a honk and repeat. The strategy of the fight is hold your weapon on your cursor above your weapon slot like this, then switch to it when you want to attack, and switch to your walking cane when you want to dodge. Then when the moose honks, quickly press your pickup button to pick up what you dropped. This boils down to 3 hits, dodge, repeat until the moose goose honks, pick up the walking cane, dodge, and repeat. Once the mummer is dead, the babies will become enraged and spin directly towards you once they get close. As they approach you, make sure to be moving, then as they initiate their spin, simply change directions so you dodge their spin. Ideally, you want all the babies to spin at roughly the same time. That way, once they finish their spin, they will all be stunned at the same time for a short amount of time. When a baby spins, it may attract lightning, so try to make the baby spin away from farm any feathers on the floor, as you don't want them setting on fire. Pick a baby and follow it until it stops spinning, and hit it until it recovers from being stunned, then repeat. Good job, you defeated the spring boss. Make sure to pick up the mounds of drumsticks, meat, and down feathers, as they'll all be useful. There are lots of moose goose nests around the map, and most of them will be populated and active with moose goose and babies, which you can hunt down if you want. But for summer, we just need 5 down feathers. And the last spring danger is frog rain. Frog rain has a chance to happen when the rain gets heavy. Now, how this works is a bunch of frogs will continually spawn until your screen reaches an amount of loaded in frogs. Once you reach that amount of frogs, which is a lot of frogs, it will stop dropping frogs, which means there's basically no hiding from the frog rain, because it will just keep raining if you keep trying to despawn or kill them. You can use this to your advantage though, and simply run to a moose goose nest where there are moose goose and babies, and let the frogs attack the moose goose. Since moose goose attack anything that gets too close to their nest, and frogs will just about attack anything anyway. So naturally, the moose goose will attack the frogs, causing all the other frogs to attack the moose goose, and you'll just end up with a ton of free frog legs, meat, drumsticks, and feathers. So if you get frog rain, run to a moose goose nest and wait it out and get a bunch of free meat. Turn that into eggs and turn that into gold if you want. Now you have free time to do whatever you'd like until you need to prepare for summer, which starts on day 56. If you're done exploring the map, you can begin exploring the ocean. This isn't essential, but that cut on the map sure does look alluring. I wonder what's hiding directly out from there. You'll have to find that out for yourself, because we're being attacked by the farming boss, the Lord of the Fruit Flies. After day 35, if you grow more than 15 farm crops close to each other, then when the 15th farm crop fully grows, this boss will spawn, if you're nearby. Don't run away, it's very easy and has quite a useful drop. Do 3 hits, then dodge. Although the boss's attack is very fast, so it may be easier to move very close to the boss and just keep attacking it while tanking the small hits, as those small hits only deal 25 damage. The Lord may also spawn some regular small hostile fruit flies, which deal small damage but will untend to your plants, so kill them after you've killed the Lord. The Lord of the Fruit Flies drops the friendly fruit fly fruit, man say that 10 times fast, which like Chester's eyebone and Glommer's flower, is an item that spawns a friendly mob, the friendly fruit fly. This friendly fruit fly will automatically tend to your farm crops, so you no longer need to talk to them manually to make them happy. Sweet. Once again, you now have free time to do whatever you like, whether that's exploration or building up the base. Seed tip. Do you have way too many seeds from all of the farming you're doing? Feeding the excess seeds to your bird will give a chance at receiving guano, which can be used as a good fuel source or fertilization. Farming tip. In spring, lots of rain will usually keep your farming crops hydrated without you doing much watering yourself. This paired with your friendly fruit fly and the crop combo of 4 tomatoes and 4 potatoes may result in some ginormous vegetables. These vegetables will give you 2 to 3 vegetables per crop, along with 2 to 3 seeds. I didn't tell you about giant crops at the start, because a lot of people get carried away with farming way too much food, although it is very satisfying. Giant crops are grown when you care for your crops near perfectly, so they're planted in a combo to give each other nutrients. They get tended to every growth stage, they're watered every growth stage, there's a total of at least 4 of the same type of crop close by, and there's no weeds close by. Again, you probably shouldn't farm for giant crops, as it will take your attention away from other aspects of survival, but if it happens by accident, then that's a good deal. Gear tip. This set piece with a bunch of marble statues and a clockwork knight will be guaranteed to be somewhere in your surface world. If you haven't already found it, then find it and kill the knight. I found mine during spring, which is ideal, as we will need the 2 gears knight drops for summer. Beefalo tip. Your guard beefalo has been away from their initial herd for so long that they've probably gone into heat by now, which happens in spring. So now they're more aggressive, and they've created a few babies. This is good news, as your beefalo defense has multiplied in preparation for progressively harder hound attacks. Prepare for summer. In summer, the threats are the heat and wildfires happening around the world, so you need ways to decrease your temperature and ways to defend areas from fire. There are a few methods to decrease your temperature, so I'll explain all the good ones to you, and you can decide which you use. The first is fast and efficient. Wear the umbrella and craft a luxury fan at your Alchemy Engine using 5 down feathers from Moose Goose, 2 ropes, and your remaining 2 reeds that you got all the way back in autumn. The umbrella in this combo will reduce how fast your temperature increases from the environment. Then when you're about to overheat, wave the luxury fan, which will reduce your temperature. The luxury fan has an added effect when you wave it. It will put out fires that are close by, which might save you from things burning down. Be warned though, if your character has facial hair of any kind, or you're wearing winter insulation, then the luxury fan will not decrease your temperature nearly as much, such that the method just isn't worth using at all. So unlucky Woody, this combo won't work for you. The next combo requires a thermal stone, watering can, a torch, and something flammable. Drop your thermal stone and your flammable object nearby, then light the flammable object on fire using your torch, then use your watering can to put the fire out, but hold down the control which caused the watering can to pour. This will lock your character into repeatedly watering the thermal stone. Each time you water the thermal stone, it will reduce its temperature by 5 degrees. From a grey neutral thermal stone in summer, it will take 23 total waterings from a watering can to completely bottom out your thermal stone's temperature to minus 20 degrees, the lowest it can go. Pick it up and this will keep you from overheating for the longest out of all the methods I will share with you here. Repeat each time the thermal stone turns grey. Also, you can use a sewing kit to repair your thermal stone before it breaks at 13% durability. The most basic way of staying cool is simply having 2 thermal stones and a fridge. A fridge will reduce your thermal stone's temperature to 0 degrees, so when one stops being cold and you're about to overheat, put that one in the fridge and grab the cold thermal stone from the fridge. But you can use this same method, but with Ice Chester. Ice Chester is the same as normal Chester, except he acts like a fridge in that he slows spoilage by 2 times, and will reduce the temperature of thermal stones to 0 just like a fridge. Ice Chester is acquired by filling each of his 9 slots with a blue gem during a full moon. Doing this and closing Chester up will cause his snowy transformation. This makes the fridge method mobile, as you can bring Chester with you until he dies. Then you need to transform him again, so he has to gobble up another 9 blue gems. It's kind of expensive. The last full moon before summer is day 51, so make sure to get it done before then if you are going to use that method. There also exists a fire called the endothermic fire, which is crafted using niter and grass. I got told off for calling it nitre, because it's niter. Niter is acquired from those plane borders that we've been avoiding up until now. This endothermic fire type makes you cold rather than hot. So if you're playing with multiple people, then these fires can cool all of you down at once, but it won't work at the same time as the next structure to combat wildfires. Wildfires are events which happen in summer around the player, where flammable objects, and even sometimes mobs, will begin smouldering, and if not put out will set fire to that object or mob, and that fire may spread. Ultimately, you just need to stop your base burning down, so that's why we're building an ice flingomatic right in the center of our base, as its range covers the whole base. This is why the base is the shape it is. It's so that everything inside the base can be set on fire and the flingomatic will put it out. Of course, it will also put out fires from campfires and even cold fires from endothermic fire pits. So if you're using either your fire pit or endothermic fire pit, turn off your flingomatic, use the fire pits, then turn the flingomatic back on when you're done using the fires. Summer is here. Make sure to use the cooling down method of your choice, as it's going to slowly start getting hot. During your first day of summer, you won't overheat, and during your first 2 and last 2 summer days, the world is not hot enough for wildfires to happen. Though due to the heat of the world, anything that spoils will spoil 25% faster, including your handbat. During summer and each autumn after your first summer, you'll get fire hounds during your hound attacks. These hounds explode into fire once they die after taking 100 damage, so don't kill them around things that you don't want to burn, or have a way to put out fires like a luxury fan, watering can, or ice flingomatic. On the surface world, plants like grass, saplings, and berry bushes will wilt because of the heat unless they are kept hydrated, like with a flingomatic or watering can. The flingomatic in your base will keep your plants hydrated automatically so that they continue to grow. To refuel your flingomatic, you can feed it a lot of stuff, but most essentially manure, charcoal, logs, Glommer poop, and other things that you can normally put in a fire. In the caves, plants do not wilt and will continue to grow like normal without hydration, since they aren't exposed to the extreme heat like on the surface, as the temperature in the caves is always lower than the surface. So you might consider planting plants in the caves, or making a whole new mini base in the caves, specifically for summer, since you won't overheat down there. But I don't think that's worth the effort, since the ice flingomatic solves most of the summer issues, but you can do it if you want to. During summer, potatoes do not like to grow, so if you're farming, make sure to farm those tomatoes, baby. And don't worry, farm crops are immune to wilting and immune to being targeted by wildfires, since they're supposed to still grow in summer. And if they do catch fire, just use a watering can to put them out. Grave tip. Do you want to expand your knowledge deeper into magic? Dig up some graves in the mosaic biome if you don't have a red and blue gem, as graves have a good chance at giving you both. They also have a 3% chance at giving you gears and other trinkets which you can trade to Pig King for lots of gold. Use your Prestihatitator to merge the red and blue gem into one purple gem in the refine tab. Use this purple gem, 7 nightmare fuel, and 3 living logs to make the Shadow Manipulator, the second magic station. Place it where your old Prestihatitator used to be, and now you have access to Dark Swords, the best weapon that I'll show in this guide. They do cost 5 nightmare fuel and 1 living log each, but if you're happy acquiring the nightmare fuel, the damage will be rewarding. Prepare for a boss fight, which is optional kind of. The seasonal boss Antlion will be hiding in the Oasis Desert. In this desert during summer, a sandstorm will have started which reduces your vision and movement speed without protection. At the Oasis Lake, you can use a fishing rod to fish for fish and mystery packages. In these packages, you won't find skins, but you do have a chance of getting the Desert Goggles blueprint. Crafting Desert Goggles requires fashion goggles from a science machine and a pigskin. These goggles will prevent movement speed loss in that sandstorm and allow you to see more. The sandstorm is only active in summer, but is deactivated if it rains or the world is wet. Antlion also follows these same rules and will temporarily despawn if it begins raining and stays despawned until the world isn't wet anymore. The reason you should know about Antlion is because if you ignore her, after some time she will start creating tremors in the earth and causing big craters to appear beneath you. These craters damage you upon creation and also damage and destroy structures where they appear, and they take ages to despawn and you can't build anything on top of them. You do get a long warning from your character that the earth is shifting before the craters appear, so if this happens, run away from your base and let the craters spawn away from your base so your structures remain standing. Killing Antlion will stop the tremors for the rest of that summer. Make sure to acquire desert goggles like we said before, then grab a good weapon like a handbat or more preferably a dark sword, log suits, healing food, an extra thermal stone which you don't mind losing, some fuel like logs, and prototype an endothermic fire using grass and nitro. After fighting Antlion, place down your endothermic fire. This fire will keep you cool during the fight, and then use the fire or the watering can method to cool down your extra thermal stone. Once it's ice cold with 2 different shades of blue, you can feed it to Antlion to freeze her and that will start the fight. Antlion has 3 abilities. Firstly, she will enclose her arena in sand castles to trap you in. You can break these sand castles by attacking if you need to escape, but that shouldn't be necessary. They also collapse after some time. Antlion's basic attack is summoning sand spikes beneath the player. You can see where they're going to spawn before they come out of the ground to hit you, so you can quickly move out of the way to not get hit. But if you do get hit, they can deal up to 200 damage each, and is why you have log suits and healing food. The sand spikes stick around for a short time before collapsing. Antlion's third ability is if you haven't attacked her in a while, she will begin eating rocks to heal. The timing of this ability lines up such that if Antlion has attacked 3 times without being attacked back, she will start attempting to heal. Hitting her during her eating animation will interrupt and cancel that healing attempt. The strategy to the fight is attack Antlion and make quick movements to dodge the sand spikes to increase the time that you're attacking the boss. As the fight goes on, Antlion summons the spikes faster, to the point that the immediate area around Antlion will become an entanglement of sand spikes. This is where you'll need to vary your dodging pattern, moving closer to the outer castles for 1 or 2 of Antlion's attacks, so that the sand spikes spawn away from Antlion, which will unclog the area around her. During the fight, Antlion's sandcastles will collapse, giving you an opportunity of lots of free hits, as Antlion will take the time to resummon the sandcastles and not attack you for that short amount of time. Good job! You killed the summer boss. Now you won't need to worry about tremors until next summer. Seed tip! If you have spare gears after making your ice flingomatic and food fridge, use those spare gears to make a dedicated seed fridge so your farm seeds last for over an entire year before spoiling. Couldn't find gears in graves? Try tumbleweeds in the Dragonfly Desert with the round cacti. They can also give trinkets and even have a rare chance at precious gems. Wow! Gunpowder tip. Is your beefalo herd getting a bit too big for its britches? Use any rotten eggs you have along with charcoal and nitro to craft 5 gunpowder. Place it down next to some of your sleeping beefalo and light it on fire. Get a good distance from the gunpowder and watch the free meat rain. Like spring, you did most of the heavy lifting for survival in autumn and winter, so can spend the rest of summer doing whatever you please. Maybe explore the caves? You might make some new friends, or some new enemies, but I'll leave that up to you. Finally, summer has come to an end and autumn has rolled back around for another 20 days. No more worrying about the weather until your second winter. But wait, what's that sound? Not another boss. During your second autumn, the autumn seasonal boss will spawn, Bearger. Bearger didn't spawn in your first autumn because the game thought it would have been too mean to drop a boss on you that early. Bearger is probably the hardest seasonal boss to fight, but as a beginner, I would not recommend directly fighting him yourself. Instead, attack him once or have honey in your inventory to anger him, and he will begin chasing you. Bearger has a charge attack where he runs after you until he gets close enough, then he slams the floor. This charge attack is super destructive, making Bearger the best lumberjack in all the constant. So we're going to use this attack to knock down a bunch of trees, of course. After Bearger does a charge attack, bait and dodge 3 swipe attacks, then run through your trees. Bearger will charge after you and knock a whole load of trees down for easy wood. While Bearger is just walking normally without charging, he won't produce logs from the trees that he chops down, though his swipe attacks and his slam is also destructive. All these destructive attacks and charging are sure to anger the forest and cause a few Treeguards to stand up against Bearger. 2 or 3 Treeguards will be able to take out Bearger, while Bearger weakens the Treeguards for you. If for some reason you really want to take out Bearger yourself, then here's how you do it. Attack Bearger and step away, as he'll probably start the fight with his slam attack. This attack has a big area of effect around Bearger, then goes on cooldown such that he'll do it again after 3 swipe attacks. Bearger's swipe attacks are directional, so you can sneakily slide to the side or behind Bearger to quickly get out of the way of the swipe when Bearger starts his attack. Then you continue attacking him. Repeat this for all 3 of his swipes and then run away to dodge the slam attack and repeat. And also, if you get hit, you drop your weapon. Good job, you have defeated Bearger and acquired his fur. You can use this fur with any spare gears you have to make the insulated pack, which is like the backpack, except it keeps food from spoiling fast, like a fridge, but it does not cool down your thermal stones. Finally, you have achieved peace and tranquility in the constant. Your following years of survival will surely be much easier, so what will you do next? Explore the ocean? Explore the caves? Explore the ruins? Fight one of the many bosses in the game? Or perhaps you'll live a humble life farming giant crops for the rest of eternity. Who knows? But what I do know is that I have now taught you the essentials for surviving in Don't Starve Together. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, I have more guides which are older but still contain good information which wasn't covered in this video, including things like the ruins and Lunar Island. I also have videos where I rush the bosses as different characters, so go ahead and check those out for character specific strategies, and make sure to buy the Red Magic 10 Pro.